Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now WRC Generations is finally here. Thank you so much to Kiloton Games for sending me an early review code. Now I'm going to give you my first impressions of this game. I haven't had too much time yet to do a full review of it. However, what I am seeing so far, I'm absolutely loving. I'll be here to answer the questions of, is WRC Generations really a worthy step up from WRC 10? So obviously this is a bit of a special WRC game, being Kiloton's last WRC title. They've obviously had the rights since WRC 5 and since then have improved from year to year, going from what was really a bare bones kind of rally game with WRC 5 all the way up to the likes of WRC 9, WRC 10 and their latest title, WRC Generations. And obviously this year, well, we have the Rally 1 hybrid rally cars, so we'll dive into that a little bit later. So in terms of events and stages, this is your usual affair. The official events are all here, as well as some kind of extras such as like Wales and such. So you've got the likes of Estonia, Finland, New Zealand, Japan, all those kind of, you know, good stages and the few extra stages are just really making this a really strong roster in terms of sort of event lineups. I honestly cannot complain, and all the stages are beautifully detailed. In terms of progression, this is much better from last year. There's actually a total of 150 levels with unlocks on each level to kind of customize your driver card. It feels much more complete than the WRC 10 kind of theme, with plenty of accomplishments and challenges to do along the way. In terms of game modes, yep, this is again another strong area for this game. You've got the likes of, you know, quick play, career, season. So it's essentially just like doing your career, but, you know, just jumping into a single season and going through it. Then you've got your challenges, your training. They've obviously was here last year as well. You've got leagues, which is a massive change in multiplayer. I'll be doing a separate video for that. You've also got teams, clubs, co-driver mode. That's in here from the start. And then you've got your kind of miscellaneous, so your leaderboards, test area, split screen, that's a thing, and obviously your tutorial. You can also create and share liveries in this game. This is a massive thing I've been waiting for, because honestly there's already some stunning designs coming out even before the game's release, so excited to see how creative people get with that. In terms of the main highlight though, it's obviously the cars. And you've obviously got the Rally 1 cars making their debut. There's 3 of them. You've got the likes of the Toyota Yaris GR, the Ford Puma Rally 1, and obviously the Hyundai i20N Rally 1. You've got your WRC 2 cars, so you've got your Citroen C3, your Skoda Fabia, Ford Fiesta Rally 2, Hyundai i20N Rally 2, and your Volkswagen Polo GTI. Then you've obviously got the juniors with all their drivers. That's a set car, the Ford Fiesta Junior car. You've got Legends. This is a main meat of the game. This is where the Generations title really comes into play. You've got the Lancia Fulvia HF, Alpine A10, Lancia Stratos HFs, Ford Escort RS 1800 Mark II, Fiat 131 Abarth, Audi Quattro A1, Lancia 037, Audi Quattro A2, Peugeot 205 Turbo 16 Evo 1. Then you've got the Evo 2 with the extra kit on, Lancia Delta HF 4-wheel drive. Then you've got the more beefed up Delta Integrale Evoluzione. Then you've got the Toyota Celica Turbo 4-wheel drive. Subaru Impreza's in this game. Lancer Evo 5 is in this game. Then you've got the awesome, one of my personal favorites, the Toyota Corolla, Citroen Xara. Then you obviously got the more modern kind of updated rally cars, you know, in the more recent times, such as the Ford Focus RS, the Citroen DS3, the Polo R, the Ford Fiesta WRC, and then finally the Toyota Yaris WRC. But that's not just it. You've got some bonus ones like the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, another special Citroen C3 WRC car, a Ford Fiesta Rally 3 with a special livery, and again another Volkswagen Polo GTI Rally 2 with a special livery. So plenty to choose from. But like I said, one of the main features and one of the main buying points really for this year is the Rally 1 cars. But just how are they? And to be honest, these are some very impressive machines. Really kind of difficult to get used to. And there's quite a few different reasons for that. They do feel massively different to the cars we had last year, while still feeling fairly similar. So let me explain. These cars feel much more powerful. The acceleration these have with that hybrid system is absolutely unbelievable. I'm still finding myself trying to get to grips with them because they're honestly insanely fast out of corners. Now the hybrid system, how does it work? What you'll essentially do is before you start a stage, you will pick your map. So you've got 3 types of mapping with these cars. So map 1, it's kind of self-explanatory and it goes in sort of tiers. So map 1 will give you the fastest amount of acceleration and such, however it will go down very, very quickly, with 2 being kind of a balance of, you know, acceleration and length, and 3 obviously being a lot less delivery with the power, but obviously lasting much longer, so you don't really get that insane jolt of pace that you would with either 1 or 2. Now in terms of kind of recharging this, it's actually recharged through braking. So I am finding myself trying to sort of brake more instead of just whipping the handbrake and trying to get the car sideways. This is to give me more speed out of corners and, you know, just receive that hybrid boost a lot more. Whereas with the previous cars in WRC 10, I would constantly be trying to get myself through, you know, any corner really as sideways as possible to try and shave off as much time. But here I'm finding myself just trying to take it, I guess, more akin to sort of like a race car. Now there is the perfect balance to do, and I'm still, you know, yet to find that. However, overall, these Rally 1 cars really do feel special, and it's great to see them in the game. This is one of the main selling points for me. I absolutely love these Rally 1 cars. They're a joy to drive, they're powerful, and they will take some getting used to absolutely tame these beasts. Then obviously you have the Rally 2 cars, which are just, you know, kind of the same as before. However, I am finding that they feel a lot more reactive. I don't know quite what it is, but in fact nearly all the cars in this game from default, whether you're on controller or wheel, feel a lot more kind of reactive, and I don't necessarily want to say arcadey, but they feel like there's just more movement to them. Now, it did get to the point where when I first jumped in one of the cars, I had to actually turn it down in terms of the controller sensitivity, and then the same again for the wheel, just to kind of feel like I've got more control of them, because they was insanely twitchy. So I will actually be doing sort of controller and wheel guides for this game as we go over the next couple of days and the next week or so. So yeah, I mean, definitely felt more reactive, but that's kind of across the board. So the Rally 2 cars, yeah, I mean, not much has really changed for them. Same with the Rally 3, they feel just as good. In fact, like I said, with the reactivity of them and the drivability, they actually do feel much kind of, you know, nippier and faster than the ones that we had in WRC 10. In terms of the classic cars, they're just the classic cars. They're absolutely awesome to drive. But yeah, honestly, top-notch kind of feel to these cars. As good as the cars are and as good as the models actually are themselves, honestly, there is a few kind of weak points to them, and the main one for me that I noticed straight out of the bat after recently just playing Dirt 2 again was actually the sound design. I kind of forgot just how kind of weak some of the sound design is within the WRC games, and I wish they kind of just improved it, especially with the new models coming in, getting that sort of crackle and awesome lift off they do, that awesome sound. It just isn't quite there. Obviously they do pop and bang and such, but it just doesn't carry that bassy kind of thundery crackle that kind of smashes through the air when you're there in person. So it's a bit of a shame that, yes, the sound design is a little bit weak. Another kind of weak point to this game is the graphics. It's nothing to blow you away. It doesn't feel really much improved from last year. And in terms of kind of graphic modes, you can run like 2K 60 FPS or 4K 30 FPS. In all honesty, it does run very smooth in the 60 FPS. This is obviously on PlayStation 5 that I'm kind of reviewing this game. In terms of the kind of 4K, whilst it does look a lot better, especially in sort of your more kind of unique stages, so snow or night and such, it really looks amazing there, especially as you sort of see your exhaust, you know, flame up through the dark. That's where it's kind of at its peak. In general, honestly, I couldn't really tell a massive difference in terms of running just the 60 FPS 2K or the 4K during the day. I would recommend, if you want kind of a visual experience, take a car out at night with a 4K on. Obviously you'll be limited to 30 FPS, and then you're going to see the, you know, the best side of these graphics, reflections and such. But in general, I would actually just recommend running it at 2K 60 FPS. So like I said, I am actually going to review the multiplayer later. That's because obviously getting this game early, there's not too much going on. So I do want to do a proper review on that when people start coming into the game and really get a feel for how the league mode works. By the look of it, it kind of works on sort of like a weekly basis or so, where people will move up and down ladders and you'll get ranked that way. It honestly seems like a massive step up in comparison to what we had with WRC 10, where the online kind of felt quite barren and honestly wasn't that popular until the esports came in, and then you kind of had a bunch of people come on or go in and do the daily challenges. Honestly, the multiplayer, just from a look standpoint and how it looks to be working, does seem like a massive improvement, especially in terms of competitiveness and clubs and such. Running a club with a bunch of people and seeing where you can get your points and moving up and down ladders really does seem very, very cool. But I will dive into that properly once more people are on the game, so I'm not going to really talk about the multiplayer just yet. But there is another mode that I've massively tried, and it's kind of the main meat of the game away from multiplayer and such, and obviously that is career mode. Now, is career mode a worthy addition this year? Has much changed? Does it feel any different? And all honesty, it really does just feel like it's just been kind of carried over from what we had exactly in WRC 10, kind of just revamped towards a Rally 1 car. So instead of going into what would have been the top tier WRC 1 cars in the previous game, obviously you'll be going into the Rally 1 cars. In terms of sort of side events and upgrading and such, it's all pretty similar. Nothing's really massively changed. Obviously you can still own your own team and such. So yeah, in general, the career mode, it just kind of is essentially WRC 10. However, if you like that mode, like I did personally, you will just love going through it again. And obviously your reward for reaching the peak will obviously be jumping in those Rally 1 cars, which in my opinion, like I said, are a massive selling point for this game because they're so unique and not really featured anywhere else. So I did kind of touch on the reactivity of the cars and the handling model and such, and in all honesty, is it arcade or is it simulation? Well, to be honest, it's a kind of perfect mix. When you're on controller, the cars feel very twitchy, you can kind of throw them around with still, a decent weight to them and a decent amount of realism, but it feels more akin to a kind of simcade at that point. However, if you jump on a wheel while it's, not a full-blown sim, it does feel a lot more realistic, and that's really where this game shines, to be honest. And it was the same with WRC 10. Jumping on a wheel and absolutely smashing the stages as you got better and better and started improving was just such an awesome feeling. The weight of the cars there, getting them handbrake turns on, getting yourself slowed down for really tight corners or through really tight gaps, and you've got cars at the side of the road broke down. It was just absolutely awesome, and to be honest, it is a much better experience on wheel. However, if you are on a controller, you will not be having a bad time either. It's not inaccessible, it's rather like a different feeling, so you will get the proper controller feeling, whereas if you're on a wheel, you'll get a proper feeling in terms of the wheel. So I honestly cannot complain about how the game feels, really. Like I said, it did take a bit of kind of messing around to get the settings to my preference. I think a lot of people will be kind of messing around with the sensitivity, especially because it just felt like the car was just far too twitchy and spinny. But in all honesty, yeah, I mean, it feels great. It's not a sim. Don't go into this thinking it's going to be like Dirt Rally 2.0 or Richard Burns Rally from previously. No, it's never really been on them levels. It's still very much in terms of how it was with like WRC 10, WRC 9, etc. There's nothing majorly changed over the years. Since they kind of got to their peak, I'd say around about WRC 8 or 9. So in terms of early impressions, is this a worthy upgrade? Should you go out and buy this game? In all honesty, yeah, I think you should. This is KT Racing's final ever game. I believe it's Codemasters that are going to be taking over the series next, which, is either good news for a lot of people or bad news for a lot of people. Still, I'm kind of on the fence of it because I feel like Codemasters games of recent have just not been too great, especially in terms of looking at their other official licensed product, which was Formula 1. I feel like 2022 was massively a step down from the likes of F1 2020 and 2021. Obviously being owned by EA now, I'm kind of unsure what's going to happen to this series. I do think we'll probably see more of it maybe in a couple of years. I think maybe it will take a break, but in all honesty, yeah, I really cannot thank KT Racing for what they've done for this series. It was a series which was massively missed. Obviously it started out with like Milestone when it kind of got brought back, and I feel like it wasn't as good as it really should have been up until about 4 when they really smashed it. Then obviously KT Racing took over, I believe, at WRC 5, which to me was just so dull and bland. But then to see the way they progressed throughout is honestly a massive achievement, and they should genuinely be proud of what they've done for this series and giving us an official WRC game. So honestly, KT Racing, yes, you can hold your head high because what you've done with the WRC game since taking over is awesome, to be honest, in my honest opinion. And while no, they've never been absolutely perfect, you could tell there was a lot of love behind them. I hope, only just hope and pray that the WRC games land in good hands with Cody's and that they don't go down a bad route with it, and it kind of stays official and looks the part and sounds the part. So massive thank you to that company for sending me the code, and obviously massive thank you to them for all the hard work that they put into this series in really reviving a game that it was massively missed for such a long time. So in my honest opinion, yes, WRC Generations is a massive step up and improvement. It feels great, it looks good, the sound, yes, it could use a touch up, but it's still okay. But honestly, yeah, I really am enjoying my time with it. I cannot wait to bring you my full in-depth review of this game. Really dive deep into it when I can get the time to obviously jump in. And honestly, I don't think you'll regret buying this one. So that's going to be it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Turn those notifications on so you don't miss a daily upload from myself. Don't forget I'll have my Discord in the description down below, as well as my Twitter. It's a great place to get in contact with me and kind of interact with me on a personal level. I'll see you later, guys. Take care. Peace.